Inspiration 92.3 FM, your number one family radio. Welcome to Sharing Life Issues on Inspiration FM. Remember that the first half of the show is brought to you by MTN. My name is Chioma BBB and EVB is in the studio with. Hi, EVB.
Chioma, this is your vibe today. It's carrying on. It's something about this your vibe.
So you are staying positive against all odds.
No, you have to. We need to do a session after now so that as per Egbon, I need to know what the secret is.
It's Jesus.
Something is ginger in your swag Jesus. And swagger.
It's only Jesus I'm loving right now.
Because the last time I saw you was before Valentine. I'm seeing you after Valentine. And this your swag. Serious matter.
Baby, stop it. I like it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so let's delve into the matter of the day. So someone sent a message to me and says, this is for EVB. And it goes as such.
Okay.
Sir, thank you for all you do on radio for us young people. Sir, I heard you and BBB talk a little about a man with prospects once.
Yeah.
I've been hoping we can look at that a little more. Please, what is the place of financial stability in knowing the right man? Okay. I want to marry for love, but I watched my mom become the breadwinner of the home, and though my father is a good man, he never pulled his weight in the home. I don't want that to be my own story. Please share with us how to know.
Okay, it's deep, and as usual, I hope we can get help from the viewers. From the listeners.
Yes, and viewers. Okay, so shout out to those who are listening via the radio 92.3 FM. Hi, welcome. Hi. If you are on the website www.ifm923.com, I'm waving at you. And of course, if you are joining us via Instagram Live, at Chioma BBB is the handle. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit deep. But the first thing I just want to say is, you're not your dad and you're not going to marry your dad. And I don't know if your mom is complaining, but there are people who don't have issues with being the breadwinner and they have other issues. Marriage is about taking responsibility for what you have in front of you. But having said that, I think my first take is, if you are in a relationship or about to start a relationship with someone and it really bugs you, their financial status really, really bugs you, then walk out to the next bus stop. If it really bugs you, I don't think it's the kind of thing you can help people or encourage people to stop thinking about. If it bugs you, it's like if you don't trust someone, don't marry them. That's the same way. I can now later go into the principles around these things, but fundamentally, I think as much as I agree that finances are good, and if it had been the other way around, that somebody says like, I've seen my mom not being a good cook. In this PC culture, we will say that we're being chauvinistic. You understand? Yeah. If you say, when we go to family house, my wife or my wife-to-be cannot get involved with stuffs they are doing, cannot relate to the other women, then everybody will be shouting. And I think the way the world is going, it's going to be difficult to have men only being the breadwinner. The structure of the world, the way the world is going, that's the truth.
So you see, I'm smiling a bit.
I know. Okay. I know you want to throw some, and I'm ready for you. I came prepared. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, before we start talking about any details, if it bugs you, if it really, really bugs you, particularly based on your background, you don't want to be 2, 3, 4 years into marriage and start, sending your husband to your dad. Or sending your husband to your mom. Like, yeah, that's how my dad used to be. You're not married to your dad. So if it bugs you that you are likely to be the breadwinner, then wait until when you get somebody who is the son of Dangote. So
EVB and I, we have had this conversation before. And we started the conversation, but we did not end it. So hopefully today.
We'll end it today.
And I'm hoping that all the single people and married people who have been in situations that are in line with what we're talking about would also chime in.
Very important.
And be a part of the show.
Yes.
So having said that, I want to take a commercial break. When we come back from the break, I will read the message again, and then we'll start it from this corner, my corner of this conversation.
No,
Sharing Life Issues brought to you by MTN. We'll be right back.
Yaba. One seat, Yaba.
Sweet granite. Buy your granite. Buy your sweet granite.
Granite.
How much for one konko?
100 naira.
Oh, yeah, give me 100 naira on. Add 888 join.
Customer, you sure say if you finish this 888? Now 5 konko be that too.
But if I no finish am, I get people for house wey go shop wetin remain.
Okay, 1 konko, 2 konko, 3 konko.
Oga, no be 100 naira granite you wan buy. Why she dey pack am plenty like this?
Na because of the 888.
Which one be 888?
You no know. 888 na the code for 5 times better awoof. Yes, so MTN awoof don come again. Now, when you recharge with star 888 star pin hash, MTN go sama you with 5 times your recharge. You fit also enjoy this awoof on top VTU. Just ask your vendor for awoof for you. This offer now for both MTN prepaid and postpaid customers. Wait, add 888 now.
It is sharing life issues on Inspiration 92.3 FM, your number one family radio. Okay, so somebody is sending a message. I'm really trying hard to read it. Pointers, man, I can see you. Please don't start your marital journey struggling before you get in. Okay? Ensure you will be you both are able to keep yourselves comfortable for at least 5 years. That's what the message says.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
So let me start by reading the message that we got that we're dealing with today once again, and that's then come from another angle away from EVB.
Yeah.
This is for EVB. Sir, thank you for all you do on radio for us young people. Sir, I heard you and BBB talk a little about a man with prospects. Once I've been hoping we can look at that a little more.
Yeah.
Please, what is the place of financial stability in knowing the right man? I want to marry for love, but I watched my mom become the breadwinner of the home, and though my father is a good man, he never pulled his weight in the home. I don't want that to be my story. Please share with us how to know. And that is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So, EVB has said if you are not comfortable with the financial status of the person, start walking away now, so that we don't start what we cannot finish.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah.
I've agreed with you.
Well, I'm ready. So, at least from that your corner, you will come out.
Yes, you see, the even the Bible says that the man is the head of the home, right? I'm coming.
It's convenient for people. That's what the Bible says. Agreed. But when people teach it, when people preach it like this, I'm skeptical until when I know where they're going to land. So also the Bible says the woman should submit to the man.
I agree.
Then let the Twitter people come after you.
No, so this is the thing.
Yes, let's go to the point.
To a large extent,
yes.
For instance, I personally would say there should be a level, and I'm not asking the man to be rich, on first sight. Yeah. No, I'm expecting that, number one, I can see that he has a plan. And I can see that there is some kind of the financial aspect of his life, because it's important whether we like it or not. You know what I mean? It's important for the man to be stable.
Finances are important, but they're also relative. What you use to define comfortability, what you use to define sustainability, what you use to define subsistence is different. It's different. That's the truth. The truth of the matter is, if somebody loves to teach, if he had spent 10 years of his life already as a teacher and is enjoying it, we already know, except even if you're a university lecturer and you become like an associate professor, we already know that once you follow the path of teaching, I can predict what you earn, except if you do something along the line. Now, if someone like that now marries someone who works in Chevron, it's obvious that financially the lady will be more financially situated than the guy. Okay. So we need to be careful so that we don't set rules and laws that indeed does not breed for true love. And you will see people who are responsible, but they are not as gifted. Some women IQ are out of this world, and the guy is not that smart, but they are responsible. They are wonderful leaders, and they take care of the home and they protect the home. But the point I'm trying to make is, it is your choice. don't kill the guy if the guy cannot measure up to the standard you have set.
Okay, so thank you. This is good. This is good.
very
There's so
good.
much on the same page. But here's what I'm going at.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know that the young man is? How I'm looking for the expression. Somebody has to help me here. But it's not.
Let me help you.
No. The relativity is one thing.
What you are trying to say in essence, how do you strike a balance between potential and what he has now?
English is hard. Thank you.
What he has now. But you see, I want to bring out a lot of things before we start talking about principles. I have seen people, I'm not very old, but I started early. Chioma, I've seen people that we left school together, that left school a year or two before me. Those were the days of finance houses. When I was carrying my legacy Benz everywhere, these guys were wearing the best of suits. They were buying brand new cars. After 3 years, when the finance houses collapsed, a lot of them, their homes collapsed with it because they could not adjust to the standard. And the truth of the matter is, if you want to use finances to judge people, some of us would have married 10, 15 years after we got married. If you use today's standard, which is the truth. I didn't.
I agree. So is there a sort of a yardstick
Yes.
to know that somebody is going to be, the word responsible?
What you look for actually is responsibility. You don't need money to be responsible.
I agree.
What you need, the things you would look at for are fundamentals.
Okay.
The state of his heart,
Okay.
the fear of God. These things money can't buy. You can have money and you have a man that will beat heaven out of you. Not hell, heaven. He will beat you to pop. We read it in the papers. Both of these people, we read it recently. They are wealthy, but they are killing themselves. People can't control their anger. You are saying because he has money, you want to follow him.
I guess it's not about the money.
No, I'm just saying that there are other things that you are
So
forced
I
out
say
to
this
look
because
at.
yes. Okay, so I say this because I have seen people who get married to a good man in quotes.
Yeah.
And then he ends up with all the, packaging. He loves God, he does this, he does that. He now becomes someone who just sits at home doing
No,
absolutely
let me tell you
nothing.
something. If you get married to a good man, and you don't have to quote it, if he's genuinely a good man, he will not be irresponsible.
What is a good man?
A good man is somebody who loves God, who fears God, who loves his wife, who loves his home, and will do anything to protect his home. And if his best can only bring 50K, you will see effort.
There we go.
I know, but we have to first clear the elephant in the room and take him outside and lock the door so we can have proper discussion. I'm not saying finances are not good,
Okay.
but it's not everybody that will be worth 300K every month compared to a wife that is worth 2 million a month.
I agree. So on this note, let's take another break.
Yes.
So that we can now, attack it on a place of agreement.
all right.
Yes. I'm on Instagram Live and I can see you now on Instagram Live. So if you sent me a message before, please send it again so that I can read your message. I can see you now, finally. We'll be right back after this message.
As a big boy who dreams big and has an appetite for big things, I need a network that serves a meal as big as my appetite. That's why I've got myself a 4G SIM. With just 1,000 naira, I get 3 gigabytes. That's big fuel for my hustle and enjoyment. No darling, oh. Get your 4G SIM and start enjoying super fast internet everywhere in Nigeria. Visit the nearest MTN outlet and buy your 4G SIM to enjoy super fast internet everywhere you go.
It is sharing live issues on Inspiration 92.3 FM, and we have EVB in the studio. He's breaking down finance versus responsibility, right? Should we call it that way?
Finance versus potential.
Okay.
Should I Surulere versus Onorushogo? Which one should I choose?
Wow, EVB.
Yes.
Phone call 0700-923-923-923. 0700-923-923-923 is the number to call. To send a WhatsApp message is 0817-313-6193. That is the number to send your WhatsApp message. Just take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Chioma.
Good evening, sir. Who am I speaking with, sir?
My name is Kunle.
Mr. Kole, where are you calling from?
I'm on the road. I'm actually at Okudu right now.
Okay. All right.
I have a question for EVB.
or a contribution.
Yeah. This interesting topic that you're treating this evening.
Thank you so much.
Let me use myself as an example.
Mm-hmm.
When I was ready to get married, I had somebody I was dating, and I proposed to her. Unfortunately, she told maybe our uncle, who happens to be a pastor, and the uncle told her that all these people that are okay. What's the Lord saying? But she herself, she can't take a decision. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Okay, the uncle told her that I'm not her husband, this, that, and that. Everything just went like that, and she came back to me, and this is what her uncle said, this, that, and that. Apart from the fact that I'm not good for her, I don't know what they saw. That financially I'm not. I was a graduate then.
Okay.
I was working, but I think I was earning maybe like 30,000 thereabout.
Okay.
As a fresh graduate. Anyway, that thing went. The person I'm married to right now, I met her, and we started the relationship. And to God be the glory. We're married today, and we're already 11 years of marriage. One day we were talking, and I asked her, and I said, come to think of it, what did you see in me then? She said she had met a lot of guys, fantastic guys who are more richer and all that.
Yeah.
But she felt there's something about me
Potential.
that is different. The potential is there.
Thank you,
may
my
not
brother.
have now. I was earning 30,000 then. I'm going to buy shirt. I'll buy one shirt at the end of the month when I collect my salary. I'm going to buy shirt. I was living with my brother then, I can remember. I'll buy a shirt, and by end of the month, I will still have like about 15,000 naira left.
For real?
And she was like, yeah. And she was like, because when we were talking, I will still have, and I saved so amount of money from my last salary. And she was like, how are you doing it? I don't know. She has seen those potential that this person is, prudent and all that. And today, we're living fine.
Can I ask you a question?
I bought her 2 cars. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Currently, as at that time you got married, was she earning more than you?
Funny enough, she does not even have a job then. But
okay.
She was already doing, trying to upgrade herself, doing this course, doing that one and all that.
Okay.
And, when I said I was going to get married, people rally around, uncles, we did the wedding, and we were staying in a room and a parlor. It was even a room self-contained. I would tell her at that time that please don't tell your friends must not come and visit us.
My brother, you don't finish him.
Relax.
God bless you.
She's not satisfied with where we are now, she'll go away. She'll not be our friend. You know what the funny thing? That lady that told me that time that she didn't see anything, she's married now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not mocking her. She's not.
But level past level.
I still gave her 200,000 naira last month.
Iguano.
To reach out to me that there's nothing. Her husband is
God
bless you, my brother.
God bless you.
God bless you.
If you're a good woman, the discerning spirit to know the
now you are preaching
will hit you.
Now you are preaching.
That's my contribution.
Thank
you so much. God keep your home. God bless you.
Let me tell you, I totally love this story. I absolutely love this story.
You are coming out from your corner.
No, EVB, I was never in a corner. I was just telling you that. I was just making sure that we understood potential versus.
Chioma, there are things that are deeper than money now. Money can go, money can come. Character stays.
But that is that character. I think that
hard work stays.
Yes, but
ability to solve problem. It is the gift of a man that makes way for him.
That's right.
Look, even the woman. Check what is her gift.
This matter of potential that we are talking. No, listen.
No, we are analyzing. We are analyzing.
I'm on the side of potential.
This potential. I'm splitting it already.
EVB, I've seen people that you will see the man, you will hear him, you will see.
You see, most times we think the problem was with the potential. Most of the time, the analysis is something else. This is the mistake we make. Most of the time, when those relationships fall apart, some of the problems they had was temperamental issue. Some of the problem they had was that the guy from day one was lazy. And he was lazy and he was showing the trait. He was showing it clearly. Then there are some ladies that will see these weaknesses, but because they had money, they will be using money to swallow the thing. He wants one toy, an adult toy, you buy for him. PS4, you buy. FIFA 2020, you buy. Are you his mom?
Okay, phone calls. I think we can handle one if it's going to be short because we need to take a break. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Chioma. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. EVB is here too.
Hi, how are you?
If you wait now, I'll greet you.
Sorry, the way you are calling my name, I feel like you're coming for me. I was just hiding under the canopy.
I was not coming from you. Now you have your corner.
Oh, thank you. If you see the way she sat in that corner today, it is well. Please go ahead.
You there, so that you say them, Papa.
Please go ahead.
So, I heard that little story, and I have no problems with her wanting security. Security for a lady getting married means a lot of things. If a husband is going to be covering, it means a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you need want to go to marriage as a lady feeling secure. However, the element of what secures you as a pet is a product of your value system.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you are looking at the wrong thing, if it is something that is fleeting, that secures a lady, that lady is not ready for marriage yet.
Yes.
If it is something that is not established.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. See, let's not get carried away by the fact that these days you have so many guys that are near 40 or over 40 who are now ready to get married. And then they look well to do. It is because they've had time to make money.
Yes.
Yeah. 15 years ago,
it was a nobody.
Most of the people that got married 15 years ago, their wives got married to their potential and their vision.
Yeah.
Especially if they were not people that were spending daddy's money.
Yes.
And if you now see them today, how far they have come, it is because those ladies recognized the potential, saw the substance to work. There was raw material for them to work with, and then it has come through today.
And they grew together.
They grew together. They know themselves. They understand themselves.
And you know that sometimes the lady will actually even still be richer in terms of earning more, but they grew together.
Yes, it is very,
Thank you so
very
much.
hard. Thank you, EVB.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you to Chioma. Make no be like say I come.
It's me that do make you be like say God is watching you. Thank you. So Ayodeji, thank you very much. Camel DD Autos Africa says, Chioma, can we flip the coin? Should men look out for the same items in women too? I think they're two different sorts of potential. I think the question for me would be, how do I know that this is someone with potential and not someone giving me giving off a good game?
Giving us a good game.
But let's take this break. When we come back, I have messages
no calls,
and I have issues to discuss. It's Sharing Life Issues. We'll be right back.
Them talk say I wolf the run belle, but today I don't see the one where they run out. Are you getting me? Now you're going MTN I wolf for you where they give people 5 times any recharge from 100 naira and above. Once you recharge with star 888 star pin hash, you get. Now be say if you recharge 100 naira, you go get 500 naira. If you recharge 1,000 naira, now 5,000 naira be that oh. You the feel me so? And you use your calling network. No more go to G say you don't get credit. With MTN I wolf for you, your G's go just the flow. It makes sense, Abi. Just star 888 star pin hash to enjoy this awoof. This offer now for both MTN prepaid and postpaid customers. You fit also enjoy them for on top VTU. Just ask your vendor for awoof for you. Are you getting me?
Still sharing life issues on Inspiration 92.3 FM. I hope we finish this conversation today because it's looking as if we are going to have a part 2. But in the part 1, Tubi Omobolanle says, I was in a relationship with a guy I believed had a potential and was ready to marry him after about 4 years, he kept saying he needs time to build enough finance because he knows the family I'm coming from and can't marry me at the level he's at.
One thing I quickly want to point out from that is you can now even see that it's not the lady telling the guy or indicating to the guy that you don't have enough. It's the guy that is believing this myth. And for me, the guy is just not ready. And thank God the guy spoke out. Because 4 years is a lot. He's not wasting her time. And I think Omobolale should celebrate. Should really go to church and do Thanksgiving. But I feel 4 years is too long to get that revelation. Yes, I think 4 years is a little bit long to get that revelation. But the truth of the matter is a pure myth. It's a myth. You can be comfortable today. Look, I've seen ups and downs in this my short life. Agree. You can be comfortable today and be useless tomorrow financially. But do you know what keeps you going? Like that guy said, your vision, your drive, your passion. If you have money now, particularly if you met it at home, some of us did not even get any spoon. Let's talk, not even wood. Let's talk silver. They didn't even give us spoon. So that's the truth. It's a myth that guy is believing. So this pressure is not only from the feminine side. And another thing that is worsening all this, when we are deliberating this thing at all to this level, another thing that is worsening it is purely social media. It's PC culture.
A lot of people talk a good game. But when you now marry the man, you now see that
we've clarified that. And I think we should remove that because it's distracting. We've clarified that. People play games not only with the financial part of it. They play games claiming they love you. They play games double dating.
So how do I know that this one is not talking a good game for nothing?
That is what we're saying. That's what we're saying. Rather than just focusing about having a good time, pay attention. Study him. Find what he's doing. So if he says he has work somewhere, surprise him. Go visit him. If he's teaching, go check him in school. They have break in school too now. Or you go when he's finishing. What I'm simply trying to say is check him at work. The same thing with the lady. The same thing. Anything. Don't take whatever anybody tells you. No, do something. Investigate. Check. You don't even need to do FBI. Do ordinary, simple, basic community policing. You don't need to do detective. No, I didn't say that one.
Emmanuel Temitope says there is no hard and fast rule. Both parties should be hardworking, responsible, and God-fearing. Number 5 will become 5M, and if these qualities are lacking, 5M can become number 5.
That's it. So you can struggle. You can struggle. We just need to look at what matters. Focus on the things that matters, and I think that's very important. But my own caveat is this. If having said all this, you are still not comfortable with her, you are still not comfortable. For example, if a woman clearly has more potential to make more money than you, and you are not matured enough to lead the home, to accept that reality and still lead. You can love and not lead. Now, if you love and not lead. What do I mean by that?
Yes.
Provide an environment for her to enjoy making that money. For example, she needs to be in a butcher. She needs to leave the children. She needs to leave the children for days. You don't start referring her to go and take lectures from your mom somewhere in Ekiti State on how to behave as a wife. And I think women too who know that that's the drive they're going to have for the rest of their life should negotiate that from day one. Share it, say it, speak it. So if he feels threatened with that, you can take your decision.
Emmanuel Temitope says irresponsibility. No true man will fold his arms and watch his wife carry the responsibility for the home solely. A genuine man will cater for his own.
The responsible man, yes.
Quick question, someone says, my fiance wants 4 children and I, on the other hand, I have a cap for 3. 3 if it is unplanned.
2.
AKA
a cap for 2.
For real. Oh, 3. 2. 3 if it is unplanned. Okay, fine. He said that my wanting to have less than 4 is a red flag. I earn better than him. We are in our 30s. In this 21st century, we factor childcare costs and fees in having kids. I want to give the right time and energy for my kids. I come from a family of 6 while he comes from a family of 11. Wow. To me, his current financial standing does not make me comfortable to have more than
Stop
two.
there before you continue.
Yes, sir.
You are mixing two different issues here. You are mixing two completely
Who, me,
different
her?
issues. No, her.
Yes.
She's mixing two different issues.
So let's start from the first
The
one.
first one is a different ball game. Both of you can be comfortable and come from Dangotes and Dangotes of this world and still want one child.
Okay.
So the issue of the number of children, in principle, though it looks like it's related to finances, but it's actually much more related to having time to train based on the modern day demand. Those days when we're growing up in Elisha or Ife, you can leave home 7:45 and get to office at 8 o'clock. I knew how long it took me to get to the studio tonight. And I know people who plan to have 4 or 5 in Nigeria. They relocated after 2. They didn't even think of having another one again. That vision died there because before you take one to soccer practice and you take another one to swimming lesson, you come back, you go to ballet, you would hear when. So what I'm saying is the issue of having children itself and the number is a different ballgame. Now, the issue of his current financial standing, by the time you have 2 children, you're already 5 years into the marriage. Naturally, if 2 people work together and they work harder, even by virtue of age, naturally your finances will grow. So I think the real issue is to find out if they can find a midpoint about the issue.
Okay, so that's on one side. She goes on to say, and we have a ton of messages. Okay, to me, his current financial standing does not make me comfortable to have more than 2.
Saying.
Okay, he has proceeded to say this is a compatibility issue. Is I wrong?
You are not wrong. It's your right. You are the one that will carry the children, so you have a stake. So if you say if you don't desire more than 1, 2 or 3, and if he's insisting, I agree in principle because it will become an issue. It will become a big issue.
So if he's insisting, okay, let me finish the message. She says, I need to be realistic. At the end of the day, it is God who gives and takes. I worry about his aspirations, and how it reflects on his financial appetite. I want my kids to be more comfortable or to be comfortable, not strained. I want to think. I work full time and would like help employed while we are at work.
That statement confirms my theory. I worry about his aspirations and how he reflects on it. So the real worry is the finances and financial capacity. For example, part of the balance could be, okay, I will do 4. But you see, if at the back of your head you still feel that finances will not handle it, let's focus on finances
and his aspirations. He's not a goal-getter as much as she is, probably.
No, even if he's a goal-getter, the guy does not see the correlation between finances and number of children. They had 11 and
she sent another message.
So that's what I've said.
She says, I've always seen him as a potential successful guy because he works hard, but this has thrown me off. I don't have investments. I do have investments or shares, etc, and I plan to open money market funds in my kids' names, but he hardly talks about investments. I cannot see his potential anymore with what he has exhibited. It shows he has no regard for future plans.
Then what I see here is your husband clearly looks a little bit more traditional. No, it looks a little bit more traditional than you are, than she is. So she needs to also know that there is a big difference. He came from a family of 11. Now, even when we're living back then, outside Lagos, try and put your mind back to the kind of people that have 11 children. That's the system he grew up. We are formed by where we grew up from.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I agree with the guy that compatibility is part of the issue and they have to resolve it. It will become an issue later.
Resia says, good day, Chioma. How do you judge a man's future possibilities by a so-called financial standing which may or may not translate to wealth? Okay.
Yeah,
good evening. Honestly, any lady who looks at a man's financial stability for a choice is naive and a baby because she's not setting the priority right. Such attitude can even make such a lady become a problem in such marriage. The future, faith, prospects of the man are what matters.
Yeah.
My friend was having a good job and a week to his marriage, he lost his job. Should they cancel their marriage? Today, they're millionaires. As he lost his job, he lost
It was.
As the job he lost was a stepping stone to a higher breakthrough.
I think that summarizes all we have been saying from another side. Thank you so much.
Someone says EVB is right. What you are looking for does not exist. That is a guarantee of a future. Nobody knows tomorrow except God. What you look for is character, and in the extent case, how does this guy handle moments of surplus, reckless, irrational, overboard, etc., and moments of dryness, wimpy? Is he angry, clueless, withdrawn, depressed, etc.? What is his attitude to future savings, investment, self-development, etc.? Marriage is a lucky dip, but its temperature can be regulated with intimate conversation over issues and trust in God through faithful prayer. Ben is satellite.
Ben, I'm giving you a hug from here.
Oh wow, okay.
Big hug.
Messages. So let's take a call or two.
Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Chioma.
I didn't see Patrick. Good evening. Thank you for calling.
I greet you. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. You've not met EVB, have you?
Yeah, let me just quickly
go ahead.
Let me start from the back.
Okay.
The back is the 3 and 4 children respectively.
Okay.
Now this is what they should have discussed before they started the journey.
Okay, they are not yet married.
Oh, they are not yet.
They are not yet married.
To get married.
Yeah, so that's is a relationship. That's why she's asking.
That they are fiancé.
Okay, now is it? I've had conversation with people like this, and I truly to them this way. I say, sir, you know what? If you have a car, you, your wife, and 3 children to fit in a car. But if you have 4 children, you need an SUV.
Yes.
It means it costs more to have more.
Yes.
I came from a family of about 39.
Okay.
And one of my stepmothers had 16.
Okay.
And I sat down, I looked at where I came from, I opted for 2, and I was able to sell the 2 to my potential wife then, who agreed.
Yeah.
And we were able to work on the same
page.
On the same page, and we have 2.
Yeah.
Now, with respect to the fact that, I think I earn more, I earn less, he's lazy, he's not lazy. They are all things that are clear before you start the journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people are blind. They chose to be blind, not because they cannot see. They chose to be blind, believing that it will not be any issue tomorrow, but because of the multitude of counsel and comparison.
Yeah.
There are teachers today whose children are more intelligent, and when they write exam, they excel the children that are living in Ikoyi who sleep in air-conditioned room.
Yeah. Valid.
Now, the journey is, where do we want to go? And marriage is safe. If you are actually waiting and looking for somebody who will have Mercedes Benz before you start the journey, you may need blessed Benson or blessed EVB.
I don't know about that one. No.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, I have messages. Oh my gosh, that was funny. Okay, cool. EVB is taken. Sorry. Sorted. I would like to appreciate EVB this evening. I had wanted to marry a lady who refused because she came to my house just to assess my capabilities because of teaching she received from her church. Thank God he brought another person and who sees my potential, and we are happily married.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh on set, but that was funny. So God used her to bring, as a divine helper, to bring the original person. And the other caller said something. People can look, but they may not see. And I think when it comes to relationship, you shine your eyes. You shine it spiritually. You shine it emotionally. You shine it physically. You shine the thing. You open it. Full bulb is very important. And you pay attention.
Good evening, Chioma and EVB. Thanks for shedding more insights on this issue. Truth be told, many of our ladies these days don't like to start life with a guy who's just starting life. EVB, thank you so much for hitting on potential. Many ladies like guys who are ready-made. I just feel that any serious lady should look out for potential in a man. Yes, money is good because it spices up any relationship or marriage, but it takes two to make it work. EVB, God bless you. I may continue to equip you.
Amen.
I too, they feel you.
Amen. Thank
you. Let's take a call.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Kingsley, calling from Facebook.
Thank you for calling, Mr. Kingsley. Go ahead, please.
Yes. In fact, I was the victim of all this comparing about that.
Okay.
I was in a relationship for 3 years. And I went to this parents' house. The father really welcomed me because then I lost my job. So because I'm an engineer,
okay.
So I went for self-employed instead of stretching all around and all that. But this lady did something very frustrating to me. She said, the mother said that until I got a paid job before we could get married.
Until you do what?
No. Until I get a paid job. I mean, get
a paid job.
Oh, a paid job.
That we want to take job before we get married. Now she came back also to me and said something to me that the father said that she did not follow her mother's footsteps. But you know the important thing.
I'm so sorry, Kingsley. We're having a hard time hearing your words. I don't know why it's really low.
And it looks like you're making some valid points, but we can't get it. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Please call us back. You hear?
And he's clearly, but we're not.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Chioma and Evangelist.
Good evening, sir.
This is Peter from Apapa.
Of course, Peter Alpha.
I'm fine. First of all, let me report Chioma to you, Evangelist. You said she's looking so cheerful. She didn't come on Friday, and Friday was Valentine's Day.
I went to a wedding.
Because of this.
What else?
All right, so, okay, straight to the point.
She told me, Peter, hold on. I know where she went. She told me. So your sister is safe. So go ahead.
Okay. Okay, on the flip side, Evangelist, how do you, like a single guy that is struggling, because I have many people in my estate like that who are saying they are finding it hard to convince their girlfriend. How will a single guy convince a lady that although he doesn't have money now, but he has potential? On the flip side, how do a guy convince a lady and he really has potential? That's my question.
Thank you. God bless you, Peter. Yes, sir. Question. Answer.
Okay. I don't think it's a duty of a man to actively pursue a lady with conviction. Be yourself. Do what you do. The one that will believe in you and buy into the vision will buy into the vision. You are not a man that wants to get married is not called to every woman. A man that wants to get married is called to a woman. We just read a particular story here where one was busy assessing and the man was trying to convince. But when she was coming, she carried her friend to come and help her do examiner. Now he's married to that her friend. See, my brother, what you want to do is mentor those single guys. Encourage them. Look at their business plan. Look at their career path. Anyone that needs help to go back to school, to do certification, help them to add kinetic energy to that potential so that they can run. Once they run at their pace, the right person will see them. I do not think it is the duty of a man to actively be carrying megaphone to convince a lady.
So how do you, so from the woman's point of view, if you like look at me like that, I will say it. From the woman's point of view,
yes.
How do you actively identify proper or right the sort of the potential?
We've said it repeatedly today. Look, how does he handle setbacks? What is his plan? This is a new year. What is he planning to do? What is he doing currently? The next 3 years, even when he's joking. Look, when a man is driven, even when he's joking, you would know what he's up to. You would know where he's going. Even when he's joking, when he's playing, he will be telling you. When you are driving, when both of you are driving on the road, he will, when he sees cars, the kind of things he says unconsciously will tell you whether this is one. I'll give you one example. There was a lady that used to live with me, more or less like a help. And of course, she got to a marriage age, and we encouraged her, look, if anybody comes, that kind of discussion. And one guy came, all of us, razzmatazz, bra, bra, bra. The guy was very spiritual and all that. But my first concern, I'm not interested in money, but my first concern is he was too laid back for me. Simple things, even in church matters, there is a way you will see. Then on top of that, on top of it, this man is very traditional. He was making demands that even myself will get picking. I would not make that kind of demands. So I think somebody showed up along the line. So my daughter called me and said, Daddy. I said, yes. He said, I think I will consider that paying. I said, why? All the analysis she gave me is all we have talked about today. He said, I know where that one is going. I have an idea. And do you know that just before they got married, or some few years before they got married, that one started his course. What do you call this? Part-time course? No, part-time course. The guy was a driver. Okay. He started a part-time course. Now he works like any other senior office worker. So you will see it. If you look hard enough, you will see. I just encourage guys, you be yourself. Let me see. Look, even if you don't have the real money yet, when the swag comes, they will submit. Leave that one.
To expand the discussion further, maybe the real question is that for how long do you wait for a potential to materialize? Recall the movie Acrimony? Please shed light on this. So for how long do you wait for that potential to materialize?
Now, if you've been listening to me on this show, I don't even support long courtship. Yes. So you take your decision fundamentally on your assessment when you have it. Most potentials of this kind of people that we are talking about get realized in the marriage. That is the truth. That is the truth. Chioma, one of these days I'll tell you my story. It was a radical change within 6 months after I got married. I don't know what it is about marriage. If you marry the right person and you already have your potential. Then I already had 2 degrees. I had my certification, but I was smart. I was brilliant, but it was not really gelling. And here was I, and I think I've said it on this show before. Even when my fiancé then visits me, I do not have chair in my living room. And I got that 2-bedroom apartment 3 months before I got married. So I had to go and bring out the foam from the room for her to sit on. I got the chair like a month before I got married, and I paid for like 6 months. But the truth of the matter is, within a year, you could see the difference. Within 3 years, within 5 years, forget. Leave that one.
Abe from Songo says, I waited 5 years to marry. When I got married, my dad said to make money first, but all I had was vision, which I shared with my wife. By God's grace, I have built businesses, real estate, etc. Thank you very much.
And people should also not forget that this thing is a work of faith.
Somebody's asking me who will help me in my corner. Whether I'm not shaking. So how hi Chioma, what is the full name? Okay, you don't even care. Judge from Ejigbo. My name is Chioma BBB, big, bold and beautiful. EVB. I want to take one last call. When you call in, please hit the nail on the head very quickly because I need EVB to wrap up for us. Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Chioma.
Good evening, sir. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Wahid.
Wahid, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ketu.
All right, shoot your shot.
All right, I'd like to thank EVB.
Thank you, sir.
Listening to you, I can see advice being given based on native intelligence and practical life experience.
Thank you, sir.
I can only advise, and I think when we talk about potential, I think it's much more for the lady than the man.
Okay.
And always be yourself. The lady, you look at who is this guy. Does he have anything he wants to do in life? Does he have a plan? Is he pursuing it? Then if you see that energy and drive in him, that's enough for me. More so, one thing that needed to be taken into consideration is marriage is, for me, is a black market. So you have to put God first too. Because there are a lot of things that happens now that may not happen in the future.
Okay, thank you.
I will not choose for you.
Thank you very much, Wahid.
Thank you so much, Wahid.
So, to the lady that sent this message that I read at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to read it again just so that you can give us a 1-minute cap on what we have talked about. Thank you for your work. I heard you guys talk a little about a man with prospects once. I'm hoping we can look at that a little more. What is the place of financial stability in knowing the right man? I want to marry for love, but I watched my mom become the breadwinner of the home, and though my father is a good man, he never pulled his weight in the home. I don't want that to be my story. So, what would you say to her rapidly?
Finance is important, but it is not everything. And any day, any time on the long run, after 5 years, 10 years, like we have seen today, the potential and the activation of the potential and the vision and the approach to life in itself, in terms of responsibility, in terms of providing leadership and loving a woman or loving a man, is much more critical than money now. Money can come and money can go. Somebody has money now, can lose money later. Without potential, without a vision, the person will struggle. Then I would like to say this. Guys, keep developing yourself. Be a better version of yourself. Wake up every day learning. Work harder. Set your goals and be yourself. The wonderful lady will find you, will be there and will not struggle. And for the ladies too, it's not a big deal. Please don't put yourself under any pressure. If you feel you've waited a reasonable time and you are not convinced that it is for you, you will find yours. You will. But what I don't want is a situation whereby people keep themselves together 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years and continue to waste their destiny. So that's my take.
This is a topic for when you come back.
Okay.
When you come back, EVB will not be here next week because he has to be engaged in other places. But when he comes back, he'll be tackling this one. I will screen grab it and keep it for you.
No, that's fine.
Social media handles.
Okay. You can get me on Instagram, Banji Adesanmi. That's my personal one. For ministry, official evangelist BEE. That's on Instagram. Banji Adesanmi, official evangelist BEE. On Facebook and Twitter, evangelist BEE. You find me. Even on Facebook too, you can reach out to me at my name, Banji Adesanmi.
At Chioma BBB is my handle. At Chioma BBB. Yes, for those who are asking what is BBB, is big, bold, and beautiful. God bless you. Stay out of trouble. Thank you for listening to Sharing Life Issues today. I hope it blessed you and you learned something from it.
Thank you, guys.
And I hope that this has helped someone's life. Men, women, and
everybody.
Yeah. Good night. Bye.